Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Inner Vision Fitness with Harvey. Now in this video I want to raise awareness about my very rare genetic eye condition called LHON or Leber Hereditary Optic Neuropathy, as I believe that spreading the word about my rare genetic condition, it will hopefully help with further research, help with earlier diagnosis, and also help others possibly in a similar situation to myself. As always, remember that you are not alone and there are always people out there that want to help. So I also hope that with my fitness channel it may be of benefit as well. So LHON, to most people, it's probably a condition that you may have never heard about before, and it was certainly all new to me when I was first diagnosed in May 2023. So in this video I want to share my story and a little bit about what LHON is all about. So I hope that you may find it useful, helpful and interesting. So firstly, my story. So the first time I knew something wasn't right with my vision was on Christmas Eve in 2022, where I just simply covered up my left eye, and to my surprise I could not see out of my right eye. Now, I told my mum and dad straight away, and this was in the evening time on the Christmas Eve, and they said to me, "Can I see the Christmas tree in front of me?" And I said, "No, I can't see it out of my right eye." Now, this was a massive shock and very worrying time for the family. So on Christmas Day, I went to the hospital for tests and get it checked out, and they could not see anything wrong with my right eye, as my eyes still look exactly the same as they've always done before, as it's just a signal that has been lost, which I will explain a bit more about later in the video. So at first I was first diagnosed with optic neuritis in the right eye after tests and MRI scans. Now, this seems to be a very common stage in the initial diagnosis of LHON. Now, after more weeks had passed, the right eye had shown no signs of improvement, as the hospital were hopeful that it would start to show signs of recovery. But unfortunately, in March 2023, my left eye had also started to become blurry in the central part. And again, this was also very worrying after what had already happened with my right eye. So again, I went to the hospital, and at first they were hopeful that the left eye would improve and told me to come back if it got any worse. Now, unfortunately, after the days and weeks had passed, a couple of weeks later I had returned to the hospital again, as the left eye had started to deteriorate quite rapidly. So after seeing multiple doctors and ophthalmologists, LHON was then mentioned as a possibility of the cause of my vision loss. Now, I was then asked for blood tests for genetic testing. Now, the genetic testing had confirmed that I had LHON with the 3460 mutation. Now, I am very honest and open about my condition, and I hope that by sharing my story, it will hopefully help others as well. Now, as life-changing as this is, I always remain positive, hopeful and upbeat. As with my channel, I want to show the importance of always looking after both your physical and mental well-being, no matter the situation you are in. Now, LHON, there are triggers that can cause the condition to develop, such as smoking and excessive alcohol. Now, if I knew I was a carrier of the condition before it developed, I would have taken more precautions, such as by moving away from smoke, but I never smoked myself and I never drank alcohol excessively, as I always remained active. So it was certainly a massive shock to me when I was diagnosed. Now, my eyesight beforehand was always perfect, besides a couple of little episodes when I was younger, maybe 12 years of age. Now I'm 24 years of age now. Now, when I was 12, I do remember having slight blurred vision, but it didn't last for too long. Now, I've mentioned this to the ophthalmologists and they don't seem to think that it is connected. Just may have been a little episode, but I also believe that sharing as much information as possible, it may also be beneficial in raising awareness with further treatments and research as well. So now I will share a little bit about LHON. So LHON is caused by a faulty mutation in the mitochondria DNA. Now, as I said before, I have the 3460 mutation, which is one of the common mutations. Now, there are also two other common mutations, which are the 11778 and the 14484 mutation as well. Now, these three mutations account for around 90% of all LHON cases. Now, with it being a condition in the mitochondria DNA, only female carriers can pass the condition on. So male carriers can't pass the condition on. However, male carriers are around 4 times more likely to develop the condition than female carriers. However, not all carriers develop the condition. So if you are a carrier or know someone who is a carrier, it's very important to look after yourself in the best way you possibly can as well. So, as I say, only female carriers can pass the condition on. Now, with it being a condition in the mitochondria DNA, what happens is that the mitochondria cannot provide enough energy to the cells in the optic nerve. Now, in simple terms, basically, if the cells are little batteries that are keeping the optic nerve charged, basically the batteries have ran out of charge, and this has caused the signal to be lost through the optic nerve. So the signal from the eye to the brain is lost through the optic nerve. Now, my vision, what it has left me, is all these colours across all the central parts of my vision. Now, these are pinky red, green and yellow colours. And I also get little shapes as well, and sometimes they mix around. Now, my vision, I just have a little bit of light perception, but people's vision with LHON can be better than that as well. Now, as I say, I always remain hopeful, as you never know what is around the corner with research that is ongoing as well. So I have tried to include as much information as I can, and it's just purely from my own research and what I have learned over the past few years, as I have learned an awful lot of information with all my hospital visits. Now, to finish off, I am part of a research study at the moment. Now, it's just purely gathering information, pictures of my eyes and a questionnaire as well. Now, in the questionnaire, I get asked questions such as, how much time do I spend sitting around not doing much? So I know the importance of keeping active. So I just want to share my fitness page is all about inspiring and motivating others the importance of looking after both your physical and mental well-being. Now, I just want to add, you may have seen me do an awareness video before, but I just wanted to correct a couple of things in this one. So just wanted to make that clear. So I hope you have enjoyed my awareness video of LHON. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. As by sharing, hopefully it will raise even more awareness of LHON. So thanks very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed and hope to see you soon.